kind of Kafkaesque. All right, the next item on the agenda, I would like to invite up the leader of the Libertarian Party of Canada, Mr. Tim Moen, to be our opening speaker.
I don't think there's this many libertarians in all of Canada, so this is awesome. This feels like coming to church for me. I got to be honest with you. You know, before I get into why I'm here and why I think I've been asked to speak, we're having our national convention next weekend in Ottawa, and I've been hounded by my executive to get well wishes from people here, and I thought this is a great opportunity. Maybe I could get a video of you guys saying, "Be that libertarian, Canada." Can we do that? Can we do that? Awesome. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Be that libertarian. Oh yeah. Thank you so much for that. As Nick said, I'm the leader of the Libertarian Party Canada. Now, our party structure is a little bit different than yours. As leader, I'm the guy that runs for Prime Minister. I'm not really the guy that does all the organizational work that your chairman does. So I just wanted to get that straight. But I find it's a real honor and privilege to be here to speak to you today. Not only do I get to be your opening speaker, I get to co-moderate the chair debate tonight with Robin Kerner, and later on Tuesday I get to debate Walter Block. We found one thing we disagree on, and that is spanking kids, and so I'm going to have the privilege of bending Dr. Block over my knee and paddling his behind until he gets things straight. You don't hit kids. All right, so I hope you can make it to that debate. I think it's going to be a slugfest. So as leader of the Libertarian Party of Canada, I ran for Prime Minister in 2015. You might have seen this meme that was popularized that said, "I want gay married couples to be able to protect their marijuana plants with guns." You've seen that one? Yeah, so that meme launched me into international spotlight, got me interviews on Fox News and CNN. Our state broadcaster, the CBC, that is very left-leaning, actually made fun of me, which helped me out. They came up with, I think, what's going to be my next platform, which is, I want bi-curious Nova Scotian professional wrestlers to openly smoke crack cocaine in public while soliciting prostitutes after clubbing baby seals that have trespassed their property. So I think that's got a bit of a ring to it. I think they were trying to be funny, but I think that's a perfect libertarian message, personally. So the reason I'm here today is that I shared sort of a special connection with Dr. Feldman. And I first ran into Dr. Feldman at the California Libertarian Convention, and he came up to me and had a drink with me in the bar. I didn't know who this guy was. Eventually he told me he was on the presidential ticket for the Libertarian Party of Canada, and I found him to be a very interesting character during that brief moment we shared in the bar. But then later on, I heard him speak at the debate, and I remember this very clearly. The candidates were asked to talk about how frugal they are, because I guess being frugal is a good quality to have if you're a libertarian leader. And Dr. Feldman said, "Not only am I frugal, I'm cheap. I make a lot of money as an anesthesiologist, but I drive a Toyota Yaris. Why do I drive a Yaris? Because a Toyota Corolla is too ostentatious, that's why." And I knew that guy had a special quality that would endear him to the hearts of libertarians. Then I came to the Libertarian National Convention. I was invited to speak. This was a big deal for me, a pretty big crowd, opportunity to speak to a lot of libertarians. And just before I got up to grab the mic and speak, someone came up, grabbed the mic and said, "Are there any medical personnel in the house? Someone was just hit by a car outside, hit and run, they're unconscious and bleeding." Now, I'm a firefighter paramedic by trade, and so my first instinct was to go out and help this guy, but these fine people paid some money for me to come here and speak to them. So I paused for a second. I didn't quite know what to do. And then all of a sudden I saw Dr. Feldman jump up and start running out of the room, and I thought, well, I can't let that little anesthesiologist, that gas man, show me up. So I ran after Feldman, hot on his heels, and there was a picture snapped of a presidential candidate and a prime minister candidate bent over an unconscious bleeding guy rendering first aid. And I thought that was a great moment. You're not going to find that at any other conference. And I feel embarrassed that I actually paused and stopped to think about whether I should go help an unconscious bleeding man on the street or give a speech. And Feldman put me to shame, and God bless him for making me a better person and teaching me a lesson there. So this is the first time I've actually spoken at a Libertarian National Conference where someone hasn't dropped unconscious and tried to die. Let's hope it stays that way, all right, guys? I don't want to feel like I'm cursed here. But the thing that put Feldman on the map, and the reason this conference is themed That Libertarian, is because of a speech he gave. And I'm just going to quote him here. Now, I'm no Feldman. I don't breathe fire into the mic like that man could, but so bear with me. But here's what he said. He said, "Some may ask, Feldman, is he that libertarian? I am that libertarian. I'm that be what you want to be libertarian, that you look good on TV libertarian, that Muslim libertarian, that Jew libertarian, that Christian, atheist, Hindu libertarian, that Rothbard libertarian, that Jefferson libertarian. You know I'm not messing libertarian, that LGBTQ libertarian, no sex libertarian, that MLK Jr. Malcolm X libertarian, that revolutionary, honor Ron Paul libertarian, that Richard Winger, Bill Pat, ballot access libertarian, that Darrell W. Perry, no apologies, anarchist libertarian, that Gary Johnson, New Mexico success libertarian, that Austin Peterson, freedom ninja, in your face libertarian, that John McAfee, world-class, badass libertarian, that no pain, no gain, get those petitions signed in the rain libertarian, that sorry I'm not sorry libertarian, that can't stand the infringements and abuses libertarian, that right here, right now, no excuses libertarian. I'm that libertarian." Yeah. R.I.P. Dr. Feldman. Now let me ask you something. Are you that libertarian? That's the right answer. That's the right answer. So what did Feldman mean when he gave that speech? I've been thinking a lot about this. What was his message? I mean, to me, it was a work of art. You know, and art inspires, it provokes a feeling, and its interpretation is kind of left up to the eye of the beholder. But here's what I took from it. I think Feldman was saying a few things. First of all, he was conveying a message of unity. You can be a Jew, a Muslim, an atheist, black, white, male, female. You can live a straight edge, socially conservative life, or be a hard partying coke fiend. And we can all live together in peace and harmony, but only if we are on the substrate of liberty. If we don't have liberty, we are factions fighting against each other. And I think his message is so important now when we see such hyper-partisan, divisive politics going on in the world. We see people getting kicked out of businesses. We see SJWs versus the alt-right, men versus women. But Feldman's message was one of unity. Now, I found myself in a bit of a predicament when I became leader of the Libertarian Party of Canada. I had no intention of ever getting involved in politics. It took some convincing to get me to even commit to running as a candidate. And then that famous meme came along and I was vaulted into the spotlight, and pretty soon I found myself leading a party. Literally 6 months before that, I had written an article explaining why political action and voting was probably immoral. And now here I was running for Prime Minister of Canada. And so that was a pretty big change for me. And this is the problem, you know, I'm an anarcho-capitalist, but I found myself, yeah, thank you, I guess there's a few out there, you haven't been purged, that's good. But I found myself coming out from the underworld. You know, I was one of those edgelords on the Facebook, staying up to 3 in the morning, explaining to people why they're wrong. I found myself probably fighting more with libertarians than anyone else. And you know, as libertarians, we're kind of wired to pick groups apart and pick people's beliefs apart. We're against statism, and we continually have this attitude of seeing what's wrong with particular groups and dismantling systems. But now, here I was in a position where I was going to be representing these people. I would have to lead, to inspire, to create a vision, and represent a diverse group of people with all different kind of flavors of libertarianism. And none of these people had the right philosophy. I mean, only I have the exact right political philosophy. You know what I mean? And here I was leading a group of people who felt exactly the same way, only they had the exact right political philosophy. And it creates a bit of a predicament. It's hard to have unity in that type of thing. So I went from being kind of a rebel to being an organizational leader. I went from having no responsibility to others to having a whole lot of responsibility and feeling the weight of that on my shoulders. And, you know, on a side note, I want to see who agrees with me on this, that liberty equals freedom plus personal responsibility. Do you agree with that? Yeah. You know, we talk a lot about freedom as libertarians, but we need to start talking a bit more about personal responsibility, because without personal responsibility, we don't get liberty. And I see a whole lot of people here willing to take personal responsibility, willing to sacrifice things. I see people like Karen Ann Harlos, who I see at every convention, who I see working hard all the time. I see Nick Sarwark, again, all over the place, maniac. Jess Mears, running her all over, like she seems to be everywhere. Joshua Smith working hard. I mean, this is a room full of badass world beaters, and God bless you, it inspires me. But you know, the first thing I found I had to do when I stepped into a position of leadership was do a lot of apologizing to libertarians, because I was not helping unity. I was kind of the enemy of unity in a lot of ways. And the next thing I had to do was find common ground. And I had to think long and hard about what it is we all have in common. And ultimately I came up with this, that we all want less government tomorrow than we have today. And that is a solid principle, I think. Yeah. And in fact, in a lot of ways, that makes me even more radical than an anarcho-capitalist, because I'll tell you, Libertopia or Ancapistan is still not going to be good enough for me. I'm still going to want more liberty tomorrow than I have today, and I'm going to be that way for the rest of my life. So I see liberty as a process, and I think we're all on that same path, that same direction. I think that's what we have in common. So that's something I had to recognize as a leader. But I also want to say something about people who are maybe followers or aren't in a position of official party leadership or something like that. When I ran for Prime Minister, I had to quit my job and cash in my retirement. And I'm a firefighter, I was a battalion chief, I was at the top of my career at that time. And so the sacrifice I decided I was willing to make was leaving the service, cashing in my retirement to fund my bills, and take a year off to dedicate myself to the party. And I knew when I did that I would have no guarantee of any kind of employment afterwards. I mean, I knew I probably wasn't going to be Prime Minister. It was going to be that shiny pony, Justin Trudeau. But I felt what I was doing was important. But the point is, I came back and I decided, well, I'll pick up work as a janitor or as a roofer. I'll do whatever I have to do to pay bills, or at the end of the day, I'll be living in a cardboard box with no regrets at least. But I found myself back in the fire service. But in the fire service, you don't carry seniority across departments. So I had to start all over again at the bottom. I was a probie again, and I was kicking in the doors and humping the hose. I was no longer the incident commander on scenes. And I found myself being in a position where I was actually a better team player than I had been, because I had been in a position of leadership. I understood what responsibility entailed. And so even when incident commanders are idiots and don't know what the hell they're doing, it's still important that when we're fighting a fire, that we have unity on that fire ground. And from my perspective, what I do in the political realm is similar to what I do on the fire ground, except the stakes are much higher here. The government kills a lot more people than house fires do. And so We're all firefighters here. And this is serious business. It's serious business. People die in house fires when you don't have team unity. People are dying every day out there when we don't have team unity. And so disunity puts the team in danger, but it also puts all the people out there in danger. So Feldman was a team player. I got the sense from him that whether he won an official leadership role or not, he was going to fall in line and be a team player and support the team no matter what he thought of the official leaders. He was going to wield his influence and contribute positively to the team. And I think that's something we can learn from Feldman as well. Now, the next bit of inspiration I gleaned from Feldman's speech was he kept using this term libertarian. I'm that Muslim libertarian, that Jew libertarian. That term means something. Libertarian means something. It means don't hurt people, don't take their stuff, even if you win a popularity contest and call yourself government. It means you don't get to point guns at your fellow citizens to alleviate your anxiety about drug use or prostitution or the poor or education or terrorism. We have deep philosophical roots that go back a long ways, and our party was founded on those principles because principles are pragmatic. Do you agree with me? Thank you. And we've been grinding it out here for over 4 decades, and I believe we're starting to win. You know, the term libertarian is being used more and more in the mainstream. I'll give you a story. In Canada, we have this politician who's fairly popular. His name's Maxime Bernier. He's kind of like Rand Paul is, and he's in the Conservative Party. We have these 2 main parties, the Liberals and the Conservatives. Maxime Bernier ran for leadership of the Conservative Party, which would mean he'd probably be the next Prime Minister. And he ran on a libertarian platform, a very strong libertarian platform, and he got 49% of the vote. I think he lost by like 12 dairy farmers. Dairy farmers have this big cartel. They're a special interest group. They infiltrated the Conservatives and caused Maxime to lose because he was going to break up dairy supply management. But he almost won leadership of a mainstream party. Now, why did he almost win that? I say it's because of the work we've been doing on the ground, going door to door, standing on principle. He wouldn't have come close to that if we hadn't been doing the work that we're doing on the ground. So why are people adopting our policies and our positions? Why are more and more people identifying as libertarian? It's because of what that word means, because of what it stands for. It's the rock on which we stand in this tumultuous sea of sloppy thinking and incoherent tribalism. People are they're dissatisfied with status quo politics. So we're getting people in Canada, and I'm sure it's the same here in the States. We got people joining the party from the left, from the right, from all over the political spectrum, and now we're faced with this temptation. You know, if we shift our principles and platforms just a little bit, if we compromise just a little bit, maybe this influx of people will be happier. Maybe we can win more votes. So now is the time, I think, when we really need to decide what winning looks like for us. Is it the goal of the Libertarian Party to get elected at any cost? Or is our goal a freer world for our children? Now, if our goal is getting elected at any cost, we need to tell people what they want to hear. We need to reflect our culture, which means we have to become state enthusiasts. We have to become followers. We have to follow the way culture leads. Maybe we have to get Barack Obama to be our candidate for president or something. But if our goal is a freer world, I think we have to stand our ground and stand on the rock our principles stand for. Come what may. We have to lead the way. And I'll tell you, if you're anything like me, I will knock doors the rest of my life and win one heart and mind at a time, even if it only means I get one vote, as long as the other parties have to adopt libertarian policies, because we create a culture of people who want liberty or death. That's what gets us liberty, from my perspective. You know, nowadays to be liberal simply means to be anti-conservative, and to be conservative means to be anti-liberal. These terms tell you almost nothing about an underlying political philosophy. And we are not socially liberal, we are not fiscally conservative. It means absolutely nothing to be fiscally conservative or socially liberal anymore. We're libertarian on social and fiscal issues. We're libertarian on every issue. Sometimes the left are socially libertarian, sometimes the right are fiscally libertarian, but less and less so every day. But we are libertarian on every issue. And it's time that they start describing themselves by proper terms, not these meaningless, vague terms like liberal and conservative. It's time they come to us. We're the cool kids now. It's time you come to us and start using our terminology and measure yourself against our philosophy. So, I think it's important to preserve the meaning of the word libertarian. People like us used to be able to word the term liberal to describe ourselves, but we can't exactly use that word anymore, can we? And we don't want libertarian to go the way of liberalism. So we got to be steadfast in our conviction, because when someone comes into our house with a well-intentioned statist agenda, we will be tempted to compromise. Maybe we can just adopt a little bit of statism in this one area to make this cohort of people happy and grow our ranks. But pointing guns at people creates disunity. So the degree to which we compromise our principles is the degree to which we create disunity and serve special interests. The degree to which we compromise our principles is the degree to which that term that Feldman used, libertarian, becomes watered down and meaningless. So my focus in Canada in the next election cycle will be to ensure that party leaders and influencers are helping to affirm our party principles for all new people who are flooding in. And my advice to them is to be gentle but firm. Help them understand that principles aren't for compromising. That's not pragmatic to compromise principles. So when people come to our party and ask, Libertarian Party, are you really that libertarian? I say we are that libertarian. We're that classically liberal, constitutionalist, minarchist, objectivist, anarcho-capitalist libertarian. We're that don't tread on me and don't tread on anyone else libertarian. We're that I want gay married couples to protect their marijuana plants with 3D printed machine guns libertarian. We're that don't hurt people and don't take their stuff even when we win a popularity contest and call ourselves a government libertarian. We're that non-aggression principle, property rights libertarian. We're that taxation is theft libertarian. We're that end the Fed and end all the wars libertarian. We're that sacrifice our time and energy and comfort in the here and now so our children can have a brighter tomorrow libertarian. We're that open border, closed border, just deport the bloody government out of my border libertarian. We are that drop what we're doing and run outside to help a dying man, then breathe fire into a mic, call for unity and no compromise, Dr. Mark Allen Feldman libertarian. We are that libertarian.
Good morning. My name is Mark Feldman, and I'm a candidate for President of the United States.
We have a responsibility to take care of each other, but we can do that without government stealing from us. Taxation is theft, and it's the worst kind of theft because our government convinces people that what belongs to them belongs to the government. It's a lie, it's our money, it's not their money.
It was in 2009 that I first learned about the Libertarian Party, the party of principle. The central idea of the Libertarian Party is simple. As much as possible, government should just leave us alone. Just don't hurt other people and don't take their stuff.
I've been involved with Mark Feldman throughout this entire debate process, and I will tell you, although he's not my first pick, I would like to put his name in nomination because he says it like it is, and he does a damn good job of it. Mark Feldman.
I don't need a concealed carry certificate. I don't need any kind of marriage license. I don't need a marijuana grower's permit. I have a constitution. What I need is a government that honors it and doesn't ask for licenses and permits and certificates for things that are none of the government's business. Whatever happens with these nominations, I want to pull us together as a party. I want to value everybody from the most abolitionist anarchists to the most pragmatic Ron and Rand Paul supporters. Let me see a hand for everybody in the Republican Party. Excuse me, everybody in the Libertarian Party. All right, I'm still running. Marijuana should not be legalized like alcohol and tobacco. It should be normalized like caffeine and chocolate. Drug abuse is a medical problem. It shouldn't be a legal problem. If that worked, we should make cancer illegal, diabetes illegal, hypertension illegal, and we would have a much better, safer, healthier country. Some may ask, Feldman, is he that libertarian? I am that libertarian. I'm that be what you want to be libertarian, that you look good on TV libertarian, that Muslim libertarian, that Jew libertarian, that Christian, atheist, Hindu libertarian, that Rothbard libertarian, that Jefferson libertarian, you know I'm not messing libertarian. That LGBTQ libertarian, no sex libertarian, that MLK Jr. Malcolm X libertarian, that revolutionary honor hall Ron Paul libertarian, that Richard Winger Bill Redpath ballot access libertarian, that Darrell W. Perry no apologies anarchist libertarian, that Gary Johnson New Mexico success libertarian, that Austin Peterson freedom ninja in your face libertarian, that John McAfee world-class badass libertarian, that no pain, no gain, get those petitions signed in the rain libertarian, that sorry I'm not sorry libertarian, that can't stand the infringements and abuses libertarian, that right here, right now, no excuses libertarian. I'm that libertarian.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a good day.